This is WPSL Port St. Lucie, the talk of the Treasure Coast.
Views expressed on the following program are not necessarily those of WPSL. However, we do encourage you to like and share them on Facebook because it's time for Careology, the science of caring. And here's your host, the one and only Roxy.
Good evening, everyone. This is Roxy, and welcome to Careology, where we study the science of caring. And this is about us, you, and our community. And we thank you all for joining us today. If you're new and this is your first time, welcome, welcome. We hope that you will join us again. Careology is a subsidiary of CareBag Incorporated, a nonprofit that provides health, wellness, proper hygiene for our community. We cover the Treasure Coast and Palm Beach with 2 mobile showers, a mobile hygiene pantry, and a place where families, elderly, veterans can come and get their hygiene needs. Hygiene insecurity is a serious trend and a serious problem that's happening in our community and our nation, and we are so happy that we can do something with it. So again, thank you all, and we're just so happy for all of you that are here. And before I introduce my guest, I was doing a little research like I do on every topic, and the one thing I noticed was hashtag relationships, hashtag healthy relationships. People are all about social media, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and they're seeing couples on the beach, couples at restaurants, and I did this for Valentine's Day, and look what he got me, look what she got me, and half of that is an illusion. Half of that is an illusion. Healthy relationships take time. It is not, you can't look at celebrity couples, you can't look at people in romantic movies and base that off healthy relationships. And social media is social media. It's not real. People, it's not real. Social media is not real. And just because you see someone with a nice picture on a beach, that can be a facade, that can be a mirage. So I have here with me tonight 2 individuals that I know personally, and I love them, and I'm actually going to have them introduce themselves to you. So, Grace, go ahead.
Good evening, everyone. It's an honor to be here. I am Grace Vergis, and I'm with Miracle Works, and I deal in mental health and given relationships.
Nice.
Wonderful.
Go ahead, Dan.
Hi, Roxy. You know, we're very grateful, first of all, to you and what you do and what you've been doing with CareBag and your journey. And
Thank
we're
you.
honored to be here tonight. I'm Dan Pimpo, and I work for Toshiba in the technology sector, but I have a wonderful relationship. And so we're excited for this. We're excited to just really speak from our heart and to be just totally transparent with
Well,
you.
that's what we want. We want from the heart. This is not anything made up. This is not something where just like hashtag healthy relationship, this is real. I've been married 23 years, and that's a relationship. And it's not roses, it's not diamonds, it's hard work. Relationships are hard work, and that's what we want people to know.
Congratulations, by the way.
Thank you. I'm sure he's taking his hat off right now. It's a lot. I'm a lot to deal with. So the fact that we've gone this far, I take my hat off to him.
Absolutely.
And those that can see us on Facebook, yes, today is a hat day. So thank you very much. I know I'm going to get comments, but today is a bad hair day. So everyone knows I do my research. And the one thing I found out about healthy relationships is healthy relationships are best described as interdependent,
Relationships. And what that means is you have 2 unique individuals who don't depend on each other for their self-esteem. They're unique, but we're here to support one another through everything.
And you have to be independent. That's what makes a relationship. You cannot be the same because that would be chaotic.
It's like the secret poison, meaning the way you look at the poison, because what Grace would give, it's for me to seek out. And then if I find some of these pieces, then I begin to build upon those pieces. Likewise, her to me. we don't give everything, do we?
No.
We're very independent people a lot of times.
That's
aren't we?
true. You have to be. Your independence makes you who you are.
And it makes you more intriguing and
Yes.
interesting to one another. And another thing with the keeping and being one's own is I love everything he stands for. He loves everything I stand for, as you do with your husband. And that's why it's worked, is you have a mutual respect for
Respect.
one another.
That's the word.
That is.
That's
And
the word.
I will say something that you brought up earlier, and I'm so glad you did, about the social media.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of people base their or
Worth.
compare their relationship and
Relationships.
their worth on social
To me.
media. I've actually, and I know Danny has done the same thing since the pandemic. We've both we do a little bit to encourage and inspire, but we have gotten off social media in a sense where now we want to focus. The pandemic was a reset for everybody. It's about
Oh, yeah.
becoming the best version of yourself, not about getting other people's approval,
Yes.
but it's about knowing God, knowing who you are and whose you are, and now being the best version for your family, your other half, your kids, your family, and everyone you come in contact with.
But you know what's funny? I'm gonna ask you to get closer to the mic
Yep.
for me, Grace.
Yes.
We have a lot of bloopers on this. We
Okay.
fly by the seat of our pants. You're good, sweetheart. The one thing that you said, which is so important, is God.
Yes.
That's missing in a relationship. And you said something else, but I'm gonna remember. My dad has been gone now, going on 10 years this June. And he always used to tell me, you can't give everything. That he was telling me that when I was young, and everyone wanted to wear the shorts and the miniskirt. He said, you can't let everybody see everything. Something's got to be kept a secret. You can't put everything out there, you know. And he used to, growing up as kids, I don't know if you guys can tell, I was a handful. My mom's listening.
No,
She's probably
you're-
shaking her head. I was a handful. And I remember I had a little confrontation with my mom, and my dad walked in. And my dad, I'll never forget this as long as I live. He said, you will not disrespect my wife. He said, you're going to grow up, you're going to get out the house, you're going to start your own family, but that will always be my wife. And that, I didn't understand it then until now. And now that I understand it, I bring that to my relationship. So when you come in here, that is going to be my husband until he closes his eyes or until I close my eyes. And that was that mutual respect. 50 plus years my parents were married.
Wow.
And that respect was just there. And I watched my mom, I watched my dad, and I watched how he just respected her, you know, and that's missing. The same thing you said about social media. I've gotten off social media. I know she's listening. I have a beautiful young lady, Kelsey. Love you, love you, love you. She handles my social media, and I do not miss it. The pandemic has taught me it has allowed me to get into my family. It has allowed me to start doing things, to get more books, and it's been a curse, but it's also been a blessing. But what the pandemic I've seen, and through conversations, that's why I wanted the topic healthy relationships. I have a lot of people, oh, Roxy, my husband is home, I can't take it anymore. I said, what do you mean? That's you're always working, you're always busy, so now is the time that you have each other. I'm actually enjoying when my husband could be home. The jobs we have, it has not affected, the pandemic has not affected it, but when he can be home, not getting up at 7:30 in the morning for networking. I'm sorry, everyone that networks. I'm loving it.
So are we.
We were talking about that.
We don't
It's-
go anywhere.
we
We
don't-
don't. This is precious quality time with yourself, with your family, to get in tune with God. We both, in the mornings, first 15 or even first hour, we both work out to sermons. We feed our soul so that we're ready now to give out God's light and love to the world, regardless of what job we're all
We're all busy.
But it's also our job is only a tool.
Yeah.
So it's a tool to reach others. Doesn't
like
matter what
that.
each of us does. We all do the same thing because we're spreading that love and light.
Yeah.
And he may be with Toshiba, but he spreads it every day with everyone he contacts.
Oh,
He gets in
anytime I go by the office, for all of you who need a word, and if you need some,
Easy. It's all right.
if you need a good machine,
If
I
you
need
need
you
a little love,
if
just
you need a good machine,
word.
I would suggest we First of all, I'm going to go off topic. One thing Careology really supports is local business.
Yeah, that's
And
good. That's good.
without local business, Care Bag would not, I repeat, would not be where we are on our ladder. It is because of local businesses that we're able to do what we do. And Dan has always, always been such a tool to Care Bag. So if you have
Thank
a
you.
business, I know you didn't plan me to do this, and
Yeah,
I didn't
no,
plan it,
it's-
but that's okay. It's my show.
Yes.
If you have a business and you need some good equipment, check out Dan at Toshiba. You can find him. If you can't, you go ahead and you call me and I will get it, because when we have people in our community that are willing to go beyond and above to help local nonprofits and to help people, we need to support them, and that's missing, and that's what we do.
Well, thank you.
You are
that's a
very
nice,
welcome.
Nice plug.
I will always
I'm
do that.
honored.
You,
You
well,
know, can I just say one thing? Because
Sure.
Grace and I were talking about this the other day, and you know, when you're home together, you see each other differently.
oh yeah.
Because when you are so busy and there's husbands working, wives working, kids, nobody's watching. So now you have a dynamic that has changed once you're in an environment where you're always seeing each other, or we're looking at habits, we're looking at our how we respond. So there's a good, there's a bad, and there's an ugly. And we always tend, Grace and I've seen Grace in her therapy with families that were so broken, I mean literally broken, to bring a family together and look at the imagination, the creativity. What can we be doing differently? How can we work on the relationships, the communication between one another, and bringing wholeness and wellness to a family or an individual through COVID has been very rewarding, hasn't it? It's been a
Beyond.
challenge. It's boosted her business immensely because, look, a lot of people just don't want to be around each
They
other
don't want to
either.
be around each. And not only that, people are suffering. Children are suffering. I sit on the board of Southeast Behavioral Health Network, and so I hear a lot, and I learn a lot, and I look. And in the news this week, it was a 12-year-old child that hung themselves. And I sat there and just a tear. My husband's like, "What's wrong?" I'm like, "Not again. Not again. It's happening again." This is a delicate time. A lot of children don't know how to deal. They're seeing their parents argue. They're not around
right,
friends. And that's something we want to touch on. We've touched on, mental illness. We've
Yes.
touched on children at home. We've had New Horizons here. We've had therapists here. But it's the relationship. If you don't know how to blend that relationship together, you can't heal the home. And so many people are afraid of therapy.
There's a stigma that they think therapy's bad, or I'm weak if I get. No, actually, every one of us has had a journey. Every one of us needs help, and it's whether it's through the awareness and then working on it yourself, or seeking help. That's the best thing you can do for yourself, for your family, and for everyone, for your business, for everyone you come in contact with. It's, for example, a family unit. You can either be on a solid ground rock foundation, or you can be on sand. So when let's say the storms of the hurricanes of Florida come along, if you
Storms of
build,
life.
yes, if you build it on a sand foundation, yeah, it's all going to break apart. But if you spend time, real quality time with each member, and seeking out what their qualities, and really trying to understand them from a compromise perspective of who they are, not just what you expect them to be, then you're both in it together. You're in it to win it together and love each other and support each other through every storm.
You mentioned foundation, and the key, Roxy, you said it earlier, and I'm going to
God.
go there.
Yeah.
God.
The foundation in Christ, and
Yeah.
whatever you out there, audience listening, they're really it's the place to begin the foundation. If you don't believe in God, or if you don't believe in Christ, it's okay right now, because there's an opportunity
Yeah.
for change, isn't there? But I think in your miracle works, you've seen the best turnarounds when you identify with the higher power, Christ, Jesus.
I've had
we're not ashamed to speak about it.
No,
No,
we're not.
that's-
I've had atheists come to me, and I've shown them the light. Not,
And love.
I don't push it
Yeah.
at all. I mention, because I own my journey, so I will bring my journey into the picture. And I would say, if it weren't for God, I wouldn't even be alive today. If it weren't for God, certain things, I've seen miracle after miracle. And even us, as a relationship, we've weathered so many storms because we have that strong foundation and we both believe in God. And we know God is working on us and through us. And sometimes where we think, oh my God, my life is falling apart, I'm losing everything. No, it's actually God making your shoulders bigger so you can carry your calling that you're created to do and be and become the person you're destined to be in the end.
You're right about that. We're going to take a break, but I'm going to say one thing, and I think that's very, very important. In order to have a strong relationship, you got to go through the storm. Because you said it. If you're building your foundation weak, when that storm comes, you don't know how to weather it. So we're going to tell everyone how to weather it, how to weather the storm. Grace, how do we weather that storm? Everyone, thank you. We are going to be right back. We're going to have a wonderful word from our sponsors. See ya. If you could reimagine the way you buy a car, what would you do? Make it simple, make negotiations disappear, demand transparency, then experience amazing at your Treasure Coast Lexus dealer. Car Buying Simplified. Treasure Coast Lexus is a proud sponsor of Careology. Every Tuesday at 6:05 p.m., caring and supporting for our community. Car Buying Simplified. Check out your Treasure Coast Lexus dealer. Thinking of building your next home or renovating? Come see us at Grozer Builders. We will create a home suited for your lifestyle. With years of experience means we give you a complete professional service from a dream to a concept. You will get the best results, best value, best quality is what you get from Grozer Builders. Visit us at grozerbuilders.com. You deserve better. You deserve Grozer.
This is WPSL Port St. Lucie, the talk of the Treasure Coast.
Now, back to Careology. Once again, here's Roxy and her guests.
Hello. Before I continue, I just want to let everyone know Hurricane Grill and Wings on Kitterman and on Fort Pierce of US 1. The 22nd and the 23rd of February, which is next week, I believe, from 5 p.m. to 10 p.m. If anyone comes in to dine in, takeout orders, Uber Eats, Postmates, DoorDash, Grubhub, 10% of those 2 days are going to go to Care Bag. That's going to help us get Depends. That's going to help us get diapers. That's not going to pay for anyone's salary. It's going to go to the community, and it's going to help our babies, help our veterans, help our neighbors. These are our neighbors without walls, our neighbors that are suffering. There's food insecurity, but there is also hygiene insecurity. If they cannot afford a gallon of milk, they cannot afford diapers or deodorant. So please help us in any way you can, or you can go to givecarebag.com and you can check out our website, and we'd love for you to learn more about us. And our local business for this week is All Roads Trucking and Parts. If you have a truck, you have a Jeep, you have a car that needs service, and you want good, reliable, honest service, check out All Roads Trucking and Parts. You can go ahead and go on our website. You can go ahead and go on our Facebook page, and you can get their details right there. And we'll be happy to give you their information. Good, reliable, local service right here on the Treasure Coast. And we want to say to them, thank you for their support to Care Bag. Our truck struts were gone, and Dan, our truck is driving fabulous.
I got to tell you, what I know about you a little more? You're a pass-through. When I'm telling you, people, nothing stays in her hands too long. So please be generous. Listen to what she says, and she knows right where to go with the goodies that come in and the blessings that you do. I've watched you. It just comes in, and you're a vessel, and it just pours out in the right places, the right people, at the right time.
Thanks.
And I'm glad the truck is running.
It's running.
Smooth from all parts.
It's running
trucking.
right on time.
They're
because
good company.
Our
Very
shower
good
unit is going to be out and start in Fort Pierce next week, Wednesday. Our other shower unit is down in Boca every Tuesday and Thursday. So things are running. People are getting help. That's it. Community and service.
But did you just hear that? You have them in Boca, people, Boca, and up here. There's a real difference in lifestyles, but the need is still the same.
Actually, I got more homeless in Boca than I got up here.
There you go.
Isn't it in one of the richest areas? But you know what? at the end of the day, these are neighbors helping neighbors. These guys had a house, they had a fence, but just circumstances, bad relationships, put them out there. So we want, before this happens to someone else, here at Careology, we want to know how we can help you. So let's go back to that infamous question. Just having a strong foundation and showing communication is key. Let's talk about communication. I think that breaks down. Someone came to me and said, "Oh, you look like you and your husband don't argue." I said, "Really? If the walls could talk," because both of us are the same. There's not one weak or one strong. I'm a very dominant woman, and my husband has a spine, so I just can't say anything to him. But I think arguing is good, within reason. No physical. But I think arguing is good because that's a part of communication. You say it, but you have to know a way to say it. Sometimes we go a little off key, but you still say it, because when you bottle it up inside,
that's the worst thing you can do.
Tell us about it, Grace.
So being transparent adds to the foundation. Being real, honest, telling the person you love or your family members what is on your mind. It's how you communicate it, obviously, that can either, your intent may not be to hurt them, but the impact may come across as hurt, and you may not mean it, but it's learning, and that's where you hone your communication skills on how the receiver wants to receive it, but yet you can still communicate what you need. When you stuff anything, and I've seen it throughout my career, when I have clients that stuff, especially now with the pandemic, where they're in a house or a room with their family members, their husband, their boyfriend, their kids, and they've stuffed it for so many years because every time anything upset them, I have a networking, or I have to go to work, and never really dealt with the issue. When you're transparent and real and deal with it, emotions that are dealt with and honored dissolve. Emotions that are stuffed become depression, loneliness, and they actually end up becoming bitterness, resentment against the person you're with or your family, and that can break a family. That's what I'm saying. Be honest. Don't be afraid of being you. You were created by God to be you. Nobody else but you. You don't have to show up any other way than a Roxy, than a Gracie, than a Danny. And who cares what people think? It's you. When you show your authenticity, you're doing a service to your partner, to your family, and to the world, because then they really know you. When you're trying to show up as all that, when tough gets tough,
you crumble like a bag of chips.
Exactly.
That's
so
it.
If you want to add to that.
No, it's powerful. And I think one of the things I brought out from one of her seminars that Grace does about triggers. Triggers are really, I think, the emotional whirlwind and the tornadoes that we use against our partners, our family, our friends. A lot of times we know what word I could say, what phraseology I could use to really just make you go in a spin. And triggers put you in this emotional swirl, a whirlwind. Yeah. And how do you bring it back? When the emotions are out, then it comes back to the heart. The battlefield out, comes back to the heart. You got an issue.
Right.
And you need to settle it. And I think one of the keys was, and how you've homed in on a lot in the past, what I've seen, is the triggers. And that's with me. I know that there's certain things that trigger me. How do I respond?
Right.
I might respond aggressively, meaning loud.
Right.
Or a word that wasn't so pleasant, and because we all want to be heard.
We want to be heard. And acknowledged.
And understood.
Yeah, and understood.
Because a lot of times you may be heard but not understood. So, when you realize because we all have triggers.
Right.
It's not one person has it, the other. We all do, and a lot of it starts from your past, when you were a child, from the womb. Yeah. There are things that when kids are in a mother's womb and they hear the mom and dad fight, let's say over money, later in life, it gets put in their subconscious. Later in life, they have an issue dealing with money. They don't want to be a success because they relate money as being bad. So over time, when people don't deal with those triggers, and even as a child, let's say dad or mom talk down to the child then starts feeling, I'm not good enough, I'm not good enough. Then they get in let's say a relationship with a boy or girl, and then they feel not good enough, and anything will trigger them that the other person didn't even mean to hurt them.
Yeah.
But they said a word, and it just kind of, their subconscious goes in protect mode.
Yeah.
Put a wall up, and then now this person comes out being oh my God, like a whole different person because they haven't healed. And that is why it's okay to get help. It's okay to get your own self-help, but if you want, reach out. Reach out to someone, reach out to your family, or even be honest with your partner and say, look, yeah, this happened in my past. Yeah, it's a very sensitive topic. I am currently working on it, but I need your help working on it.
I need your you need God for the divine intervention.
Correct.
That's number one. But being honest. And driving over here today, I was thinking about communication. And I was thinking about how you grow up about relationships. I don't know about nobody else. My age might come out. But growing up with relationships, you're not supposed to have sex before marriage.
Right.
Relationship 101. That was it. But we have evolved. And now it's okay to talk. And it's okay to have a conversation. And with communication comes honesty. And with honesty comes care. My mom used to tell me this, and my mom is listening, so hi, Mom. And she used to give me advice. But one thing she said to me, someone cannot abuse you with the same hands and love you. And that stuck with me.
That's powerful.
Very, very true and spot on.
That stuck with me. And you just get that little.
You're spot on, but I'm going to add just a little because
Go ahead,
it is
teach me.
that is very black and white and it's so spot on. But hurt people hurt others, and sometimes they don't mean it. So I wanted to add a little gray to that let's go beyond the hurt. That person hurt me because they're projecting their pain on me. So now if I'm one with God, where I'm confident with my relationship with God, their hurt won't hurt me as much, because who do I need approval and love from? First, God and myself. And then when that person, I can realize, okay, that person's not really going at me. They're hurting. How can I help them so we can better our relationship? And that goes and this is not
for
just
everything. This is
it's not just
relationships.
not
it's
just
everything.
not relationship, not family. It goes into business.
Business.
Very much so. People can go very nasty with business when you can see, well, that person was just hurting, or they just had a bad day. Look beyond that. See their heart. Everybody's actually really good people. But just give them a chance. Don't judge. The worst thing we do as humans,
we judge.
Our pride, our ego, and judge. Take it all away. Give them grace. Sorry, it's my name, but it's not what I mean.
Listen.
No, but it is just give them that grace. Give them that love, because maybe your one little of love may spin their day in a whole different direction than it's a domino effect. You may give them that love. They then go home, give the love to their husband,
child,
wife,
anybody,
whatever, and their kids. And then now it's a whole, you planted the seed in their world.
Look at you, Roxy.
Absolutely.
Look at the seeds you're planting by watering literally drops of water on men and women in your trailers. And you can look at this. And
I like that.
And the dry soil where it has nothing, you're bringing life.
You're washing. You're washing literally. You're allowing someone the opportunity to cleanse themselves. Watch this. Then you're allowing themselves to better themselves by deodorant, putting on something that doesn't smell so bad. And kind of look, you've even done things, I think, with hairstylists. And you're bringing someone the old, when the cocoon,
just like
the
the
caterpillar to the butterfly.
Coming into the
Roxy,
butterfly.
you're doing it daily with your ministry and what God has put on your heart through Care Bag.
And now she took it even more, because it's not just Care Bag and that. Now it's Careology, where she's showing I do that. I did the solid foundation. Now let me. Whoops.
Thunder was loud. It's raining again.
It's raining
here
again.
At the
Yeah.
studio.
I talk with my hands, but now it's about, let's touch some more hearts in a different way. And that's so beautiful. And that was such an ingenious idea. Because now you're tapping in to people who think, okay, I don't really need Care Bag, because I'm okay at home. I have my shower. I have my provision.
But there's something else you might need.
You may lack other things. So now you are hitting everything. You're hitting everybody from.
The heartbeat of America isn't a truck. We've just changed
love.
that.
You're
It's right
spreading
here.
the love
You.
from the foundation right to the heart, and that's what life is about.
good.
We need to spread the life and be that light in a world of such darkness.
We have to. And I'm glad you touched on that, because I wanted to touch on that. everyone's thinking, oh, healthy relationships between a man and a woman and a family, mother and daughter. Healthy relationships and communication are even in business. So I'm very transparent, and I talk about myself because I want people to know. And I think I heard a horn. We might have a truck outside. That's good. I'm messing with you, Cliff. And for instance, like we have our board meetings, and at the end of our board meetings, you know, Dan, you sit on, and Grace, you sit on many boards. They always ask you, you know, what do you have to say? So we had a board meeting last week, and one of my board members, Alex, said, well, Roxy, what do you have to say? This is like from 9 to 3. I got a lot to say. But that was not the time for me to say it. And they were like, no, we don't want you to go home. I'm like, no. I said, I have to digest this. I don't want to, my board members are important to me. And I don't want to say anything to mess up a healthy relationship that I have. Because some of you might not know, I can fly by the seat of my pants. I can see all my board members just nodding their head because this is passionate for me. And everyone talks about doing, and doing is not on Thanksgiving and Christmas. You go somewhere and you hand out food. Doing is every day in your life. A healthy relationship is every day, and it's having that moment where you know, I gotta just shut up right now. That's our problem. Some of us just don't know how to be quiet.
She
I
coined
posted
something a while back. Are you listening to reply?
No. Or are you listening? Are you just listening to reply? Or are you listening to really hear the other person, what their need is? And you got it spot on. Like, and I think even through the pandemic and even before, throughout our relationship, is you learn over time to just, you said it. You have to shut up and
let's just go there.
process it. Because sometimes we are very passionate. We're all passionate. We all want to impact so much that sometimes that gets in the way of us really processing what the other person, whether it's business, friends, or our relationships or family, just listen and really feel the heartbeat. Because really, we're all talking the same language, but when we don't listen, we're all talking a different language.
But we miss so much.
Transparent a minute?
Yeah.
In my business cycles of life, I've been with Toshiba 17 years. I've had some management moments where if I just would have kept my mouth shut instead of trying to respond before the conversation was even done, I wouldn't have had the stress. I wouldn't have maybe the anger moment. Learning and listening is key, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it's what you said earlier, Grace, about filtering, processing, and then healing. You can't do just one of those three. You have to filter, you have to process, and then you have to allow healing to flow.
And with the whole healthy relationship, your partner's supposed to be your biggest cheerleader.
Yeah.
You're going to go through moments where you're at your lowest low and you're at your highest high. Your partner is there to not only be your biggest cheerleader, but to bring the best out of you and to be the encourager, not take away from your individuality or your everybody's if you want to be an eagle, you are an eagle. You want to fly with another eagle that's going to make you a bigger eagle, or a lion with your lion.
You can't be a crow, because if you're a crow with an eagle, this is what the eagle will do. The eagle will soar, and the eagle's going to take you so far that you're going to choke and the crow is going to die. That is actually true. So you have to have, your own individuality.
Absolutely.
You have to be able to talk. Communication is key. Without communication, you cannot have a good relationship. But above all, you need to have respect. You need respect. A good relationship, it's not just one thing. It's several things. And that's what brings it together. Talking, listening. Because again, I'm going to use myself. When I'm passionate about something, I'll say it, and my husband look at me and said, like, you just said that like 5 times. I walk away. I'm like, the truth never changes, and I just keep it moving.
I'm like you.
But yeah, if I'm passionate, I'm going to say it. And my board members, well, you told us that already. It doesn't change. But that's a relationship. Yeah. You should be able to say something to someone. And when you say something, the person is supposed to receive it in a positive light.
And you say it freely, not afraid to say it.
Yes.
Because if you didn't say it the exact way that you should have said
they're
it,
gonna get upset
or offended. And another thing with communication is the whole thing is when you're working with your partner, it's all about compromise.
Yeah.
compromise. You have to see each other's point of views. And it's not just with your partner or in a family or with a child and an adult. It's in business.
Yeah.
It's not one person's all right or the other, or even with a boss and an employee. A true leader is not just a boss. A leader is one that takes everybody's opinion, works with them, and works together on a common goal.
It's the navigation.
Yeah.
It's the
Yes.
navigator. And last I'm going to say, we're adults talking like this, aren't we? And the shame thing, and this is a part of your practice again, you just don't deal with adults.
No.
The kids need to hear this story about communication
yes.
young. We don't do it. We don't teach respect and communication to our children, do we? 'Cause
Shut up, go to your room.
It's just, because
that's what
they
we
were
do.
taught the way, what their
The
mother and
cycle.
father did, I'm passing down and I'm passing down. So that's where you've been powerful too, to pull through to these kids and begin to bring them out of these sheltered moments of life. They're lost. They don't have the, and social media,
Oh,
goodness.
it's even worse.
Forget
It's
about
even
it.
worse.
Forget it.
They're
Because
lost.
they're so focused on the social media.
How
They
many
lost
checks
the
and
whole.
likes I got?
Yeah, they're not
Yeah.
about my family time or what my parents say anymore, the respect for my parents. It's more, the younger, like the young generation are really so into.
You sat around the table when you were growing up with your family and
You
ate,
couldn't
talked.
have the phone there.
Phone. We didn't have a phone.
Yeah, exactly. We were outside playing.
We had beepers, so the beepers had. We didn't even
Pagers.
pagers, beepers. But I'm gonna ask you a question. We're gonna go to our last break, and I want to ask you a question. Last week, I have a young man. His name is Jet Pruitt. You would love him. I think he's 15 or 16 years old. He wrote a book already. You can find it on
love it.
Amazon.
Wow.
Insightful. His parents, they feed into him. But I don't have the question, but the question that he asked, he said, how we just had one of our friends, their son committed suicide last week. I think he's 13 or 14. And he emailed me and he said, I can't remember
verbatim.
You remember the conversation we had? He said, "How do we as young people get through this pandemic? How do we get through it? Hold it.
God.
Don't say it.
Okay,
Hold
we
it."
won't.
Because
Hold
she's
it.
about, for those that can't see her, she's about to jump out her chair. She's gonna help us, and I want Careology is that we can give you a resource and we can help you. Even if it's one person, we've done our job. So Cliff, we're going to go to a commercial. We'll be right back with Careology, Dan, and Grace with that question. Thinking of building your next home or renovating? Come see us at Grozer Builders. We will create a home suited for your lifestyle. With years of experience means we give you a complete professional service from a dream to a concept. You will get the best results, best value, best quality is what you get from Grozer Builders. Visit us at grozerbuilders.com. You deserve better. You deserve Grozer. If you could reimagine the way you buy a car, what would you do? Make it simple, make negotiations disappear, demand transparency, then experience amazing at your Treasure Coast Lexus dealer. Car Buying Simplified. Treasure Coast Lexus is a proud sponsor of Careology. Every Tuesday at 6:05 p.m., caring and supporting for our community. Car Buying Simplified. Check out your Treasure Coast Lexus dealer.
This is WPSL Port St. Lucie, the talk of the Treasure Coast.
And now back to Careology with Roxy.
Well, Grace is jumping out her seat, but before I say anything, before we answer that question, Grace, I just want to say Napa Auto Parts, nationally known, locally owned. They are the only locally and owned and operated auto parts store on the Treasure Coast. So you need parts? I actually go there for my commercial vehicles. They have,
Fantastic.
I love Wayne. He's very entrenched in the community, and I love having him on. I love what he does, and we want to support. We want to support
polite,
locals.
very
Very,
polite,
very guy. And
respectful.
Wayne, if you're listening, thinking about you, buddy. Grace, go ahead, because I know go to the mic and go ahead. Take it away.
So this teenager asked you, being a teenager, being in that age group, because it doesn't just have to be teens, it's even young adults. And even adults. But I'm just saying, but the teens are so used to that social interaction, doing things, being out with their friends. it's become a lot harder. But unfortunately, the downside, as much as the internet and everything can be such a great tool for business, it has also been a demise for the younger generation, where a lot of what they appear to be on social media, and you got it spot on earlier, is not their
fake.
Because inside, and where I'm and Danny, we're always about talking into our children, about really having that open communication, so that we know at every point where the child is at. A lot of parents, they get so busy in their lives that the child kind of gets not lost, and it's not at the parent not doing their job right. It's just we all get busy in our lives. But it's really knowing where the child is at. The child may show up as in front of the parent that they're all okay, then they're all on social media putting all the most best pictures of themselves. But in essence, they're dying inside, and all they want to do is commit suicide. And they compare themselves. And this is a true story of I didn't know this individual, but this is an amazingly beautiful model style girl. She had all the followers in the world. Everybody thought she had all the friends, all the followers. She put it up, all on, it was Instagram, had it all. She had the most perfect life. But as soon as she turned that off,
life was gone.
She was drinking. She was high in every type of drug. She ended up committing suicide because she felt so alone. And I will go right back to the core of it. If you don't have God, you honestly, even your family, when you don't have that vein of God inside of you, you have nothing. You will not survive the storms of the world. So that is where it starts. And then when the family, and that's where Danny and I, and even my son, he wants to get into pastoral ministry. We want to go into churches. We want to start, I think, for the young generation of how do you communicate? What do you think of this topic? If you feel this way, how do you deal with it with your friends, with your parents? Who do you go to? Do you have a resource? It's not necessarily going to a doctor or getting medicated or a psychiatrist, because a lot of people say easy way route. Let's just get them on medication or get her. No. There's a hole inside of them. And until someone takes the time to listen to their hurt and see where it's deep-seated from maybe when they were 2 years old, 3 years old, or they lived through a trauma, it will never be cured with medication. Sit, and that's what I'm saying. Conversation, communication. Even for parents, compromise your time. Don't go do what makes you happy. Sit down with your kid, spend time, invest in each other, invest in your family. And that is why the pandemic, as most people saw it as a bad thing, I actually saw it as a reset and a good thing. I got closer to God. I got closer to my family. I read books like you said. I wanted to be the best version and show up the best way. I almost took myself away from all the boards, from all the networking, because you know what? Really, at the end of the day, yes, we're doing good, but if you don't start good in your home, where are you really?
You can't do good
the
for
foundation work. It breaks down.
You know what I like too? There was I taught youth group years ago when I left ministry out of Bible college. I want to date myself, but what I've seen powerful for you, Grace, in the ministry of Miracle Works again, and I keep coming back to that, Roxy.
Because that's what you know.
I know, and I've seen the evidence, though, and I've seen the fruit of the, if you can't resonate with a certain person, seek out, find someone that you can really just sit and feel their love and have an openness, a real transparency, so that you're not judgmental. It's more about what's going on. Be a great listener, and all these kids really truly need is to be listened to. To be heard. To be heard. And you know what?
You don't really even have to say something. Sometimes you want to, but you don't have to say anything.
Hug or just let them cry and go there. But social media, again,
has killed
it's destroyed the worth. And everybody thinks they got to have this and have that. And you know what? When I was growing up, we didn't have it.
Yeah.
I like you said, we were out playing, we were out doing things. We still had issues.
But that's what I said the other day to our neighbor.
They didn't go away.
But we dealt with them differently.
We had outside. You would be surprised what sunshine does for you.
Oh, absolutely.
But technology has moved
us.
It has moved us to a different. Yes. It's moving faster, and so where are we? We're slowing down.
Yeah.
We're not catching up with it, and that's good and bad because I sell technology. But at the end of the day, what Grace has done effectively, I think, in your ministry is that to be able to be a great listener, to allow that individual, whatever age, and I think you're dealing with a cross section of
I deal
all
with the
right
young
now.
to the elderly.
It's like it's just
Across.
gone. You got the parent, you got the kid. You got the parent calling.
I do
say,
mediation
hey,
in
my
families,
kids,
but
kids
that's
say my
that's
parent,
another.
and so
Yeah.
the pieces of it is again, it's swirling.
Right.
You got to start somewhere. You
You
got to
have
start.
to.
That's. I'm gonna give a plug to somebody, and I just feel that it's on my heart. But the Boys and Girls Club, we love you. Grace and I support your organization of St. Lucie County, also Martin County, West Palm Beach. I'm involved in all three. But at the end of the day, to give these kids the awareness, to give them the tools, if you will, we got to go even deeper there. We got to get there about this communication, don't we, Grace?
Communication is key. Actually, we're booked up on our show till July 6th, but Will is one of my guests coming up.
Fantastic.
Because, like we said, this is about community conversation. It's about Careology is caring and supporting your community. Caring and supporting the community is not care bag. There isn't. It's not care bag. It is the community. It's a teamwork, and that is why I have nonprofits. I have individuals that work in the community, so we can hone in and support, because people are hurting. Some people don't. Believe it or not, there are some people that don't know care bag. Right. There are people that don't know Boys and Girls Club.
Ladies are wired.
There are people that don't know 211, New Horizons. They don't know if they're being beat up. They don't know where to reach out. So we're hoping that if you're in the sound of our voice, that we can give you some knowledge and a resource, that you would take that information and share it with yourself or share it with someone. So on our Facebook, I always try to read a message. Someone, Bilo, harmony is a force that keeps passion alive while maintaining stability. Thank you, Milo. And
thank you, Milo.
And Jet and everyone, thank you. I always try to give a plug out to my guys listening. We want to see how our Facebook viewing is going. We have some regulars and we love you. But, we're coming towards the end. So a healthy relationship is communication. It's compromise. But before we go, I really want to talk about one thing, and I get some individuals think that, if he's jealous of what I do, that means he or she really loves me. Go ahead, Grace.
Totally wrong. That's control.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to say that it's not just in relationships. It could be, especially now with social media and texting, it could be girl to girl and as best friends. If she's talking to this person or talking to that person, she must not.
Oh, let me correct you. It's not girl to girl. They're grown women that do this, honey. But
okay,
continue.
but I'm just saying, there is so much, and that's actually becomes abuse and control. Well, where the jealousy becomes
volatile,
where the person only wants you for themselves, whoever it is.
Yes.
Only wants you, doesn't want you to share with, hang out with friends, even family members, or even like just people.
That's a deep-rooted problem that they have. But it's a control.
It is a control. But again, you have to look at the person doing it. It's from their past,
childhood,
projecting it on to the person
else
they're with. And that's where that issue needs to be openly brought up. And if it can't be dealt with, because some people that are abusive will not hear. They're in denial.
Right.
They'll say, I don't have a problem. But the ones that really do love just don't know that they're actually going to that level or to that far. They will hopefully work on their attitude and how they're doing. But again, communication comes at the end of it's at the root. If you can't deal with it, then you get out. But if you can deal with it, absolutely. I'm never saying sever a relationship. All I'm saying is be aware that you are who you are. You are a child of God. You were created with a crown. Don't ever diminish who you are because somebody else doesn't think you have, or somebody wants you to be exactly how they want you to be. Be you.
That's right. And if the crown is crooked, and you are in a healthy relationship, that person needs to fix it.
Absolutely.
I have some friends and I have some sisters, and not related by blood, but related by love. And if my sister's crown is crooked, I'm not going to talk about it crooked. I'm going to fix it. I'm going to get behind her. I'm going to push her, and I'm going to make her be her best. We're going to have another conversation about this because there's so much, and I get excited. We have 5 minutes left for this show. And
can I say one thing real
you
quick?
can say
Because
anything.
Grace has helped me with something in my life, and God has, and Christ Fellowship has through their freedom class about pride. I think pride and jealousy kind of go hand in hand a lot.
Yes.
And for me as a man, and I'll speak to the men out there, that we're the hunter mentality. We get prideful. We get egotistical. And I think that falls into jealousy, and it falls into ownership. It falls into not really seeing your mate and building her self-esteem and getting her to that place and seeing the value that the woman, the emotional connection that God created is 99.9% of the time right. We as men, guess what? If we would just shut up and listen, if we would just shut up and listen, and that guy, because I truly believe that's why he created Eve in the garden. But at the end of the day, I think it's important to say that for me, dealing with
Can you say
pride,
that again, Dan?
99% of any conversation with a woman when she's speaking is usually right on, spot on. Guys, listen up. I'm serious. Acknowledge it.
You lost a lot of friends, but that's all right. You gained a lot of friends too.
But my friends
right.
are right here. This is all we love.
You're right.
So I'm going to add one more thing. Everything we do to anybody, doesn't matter if it's your family, your partner, your husband, or your business coworker, you're doing to God. So when you're going to go talk about somebody, or you're going to be nice to somebody, are you honoring God? Or are you kind of breaking him down because you're breaking that person?
I like that you said that, because when I first started Care Bag, got 3 minutes, Cliff is looking at me, and I have some questions we asked you. When I first started Care Bag, someone said, how can you go into bushes, and how can you go into woods, and how could you feed them? And I said, I don't know if I'm entertaining angels or the Son of God.
That's beautiful. You're right.
That's what I said.
That's awesome.
So I'm going to leave our relationship on there.
Yes.
And we're going to leave it on that good note. But we always ask a question to every one of my guests. For the new year, everyone made resolutions, and we decided we didn't make resolutions. We looked for a word, and a word that you wanted to carry through for the whole year. I got quite a few words. I have forgiveness. I have a big, we need to do a show on forgiveness. Right now, my husband's just shouting, hallelujah. Yeah. I need to do a show on forgiveness. I'm a person, I hold it in. But I have a lot of words. If you had to choose a word that you wanted to carry through the year. Some people had said focus. One of my words, a peace. So what is a word, not making a resolution, but what is a word you would use to carry through the year?
I wonder if it's the same word.
We'll see.
Mine begins with a C.
Oh, no.
Okay.
And an F. I
No.
have two.
Okay.
Mine is hope.
Okay.
Hope. Hope
Yeah.
is not dead.
Yeah.
You believe in God. God's going to bring you. What's the famous verse?
Jeremiah 29:11.
For the plans I have for you.
Declares the
Yeah.
Lord, plans to prosper you, not to harm you.
So
with a hope and a future.
As bad as we think our life is, be grateful and glorify Him, because you know what? There is hope in everything.
I like that.
Freedom
hope.
is my word, because I know we're running out of time.
That's
Freedom
all right.
and
Freedom
commitment.
And commitment. Cliff, I never asked you, what's your word?
Oh, I'm sitting over here engineering.
I need a word. I need a word. You always take part. I didn't hear from you today. What's your word? If you had to pick one word.
Okay, let's see.
We have 1 minute.
1 minute? Oh, we do have 1 minute.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. Careology. I like that one.
You like that word?
Well,
Well, you
that's a
know
new
what?
word for a
We're
lot of
going to
people.
end on Careology. We are going to see you back next week at 6:05 right here on WPSL. You can check us out on Facebook. We'll have it up on YouTube. Listen us on Alexa. Listen us on TuneIn. Careology, the science of caring. Caring for you, because you are our community. See you next week. God bless. And have a wonderful rest of your week.
Thank you, Roxy.
Thank you, Roxy.
You're welcome, guys. Great having you.
You've been listening to Careology, the science of caring. It's a new concept for a lot of folks, but I like it. This is WPSL Port St. Lucie on Google Home, Alexa, and the TuneIn app on your smartphone. And the time right now is 7 o'clock.